Well, here's a good question. I think it's a linear kind of question. Recent trip, Sarah's car traveled 20 kilometers an hour faster on the first 160 than it did on the remaining 80 miles. The total time for the trip was 4 hours. So the speed of Sarah's car on the first part. So time is 4 hours. So the time to go to the first part plus the time to go to the second part has got to be 4 hours. Okay, now I have this formula, distance equal rate times time. If I solve that for time, it's time is equal to distance over the rate. So the distance over the rate for the first part of the trip plus the distance over the rate for the second part of the trip must equal 4 hours. Okay, what was the distance for the first part? 160. So 160 miles over. She went 20 miles an hour faster on the first 160 than she did on the remaining. So maybe let's do the remaining. Let's do just R for the remaining. And so for this first trip, first part, it must have been R plus 20. So she was going R for the last 80 miles, and she was going R plus 20 for the first 160 miles. Okay, so that plus that is equal to 4. So there I've got one of those beautiful rational equations. So I'll multiply everything by the lowest common denominator. And I'm thinking the lowest common denominator will be R plus 20 times R. So I'll take this term and multiply it by R and R plus 20. Take this term and multiply it by R and R plus 20. And this term by R and R plus 20. Remember, that's over 1 over 1. So the R plus 20's cancel, so this first term will have 160 times R. Plus, the next one, the R's cancel, so I'll be left with 80 times R plus 20. And on the last one, equals, it'll be 4R times R plus 20. Okay, let's do this distributive property quick. So this would be 80R plus 1600 equals, oh, this won't be linear, there's a quadratic part. This will be 4R squared plus 80R. Since there's a quadratic part, let's bring everything over to the right side. So I'll have a 4R squared, a plus 80R, and then minus 160R, done, minus 80R, oh, those will just cancel, minus 1600 equals 0. That one's done too. Okay, so 0 is equal to 4R squared. This 80 and this 80 cancel. So it'll be minus 160R minus 1600. Every term is divisible by 4. So 0 divided by 4 is 0. This divided by 4 is R squared. This would be 40R minus 400, I think. Okay, now factoring. I'm not sure about this one. Let me pause to try and factor it. Okay, I gave it a shot, but I don't think you can factor that unless I've done something incorrect, which is totally possible, but I can't seem to factor that. So if you can't factor it, then away you go with the quadratic formula. Minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over a couple a's minus a negative 40 plus or minus square root negative 40 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 400 all over 2. A is 1. 2 times 1. So it'll be positive 40 plus or minus the square root of 1600 plus 1600. I think that's right. All over 2. So it's 40 plus or minus the square root of 3200 all over 2. Yeah. So the square root of that, what would that be close to? 60? Yeah, it'd be close to 60. Just short of 60. So 40 plus 60 is about 100 divided by 2 is 50-ish. I think if you do this on your calculator, the one way I think you get 48. The other way you get a negative number, so you discount that. So 48.2 or 3, something like that. And so that's what I would say your answer is. I think 48 is one of the answers. I think it's there. So unless I made a mistake somewhere in there, I would say that that would probably be about the speed of Sarah's car on the... Oh, now hold on. That would be the speed of her car on the second part of the trip, because that's what R is. If they want to know what the speed of the car of the first trip, that's the R plus 20. So it wouldn't be 48, it'd be 68. All right, hopefully that helps you with that one.